Very good afternoon, and thank you for making time for Citizen at 1. My name is Willis Shabura. Our top story this hour: over 250,000 voters are preparing to go to the ballot in the Makueni senatorial by-election. Our reporter Kenego Obadia is in Makueni and now joins us live. Kenego, if you can hear me, what is happening now since the campaigns ended yesterday as far as the IEBC is concerned?
Very good afternoon to you, Willis Raburu. In fact, what is happening here in Makueni is preparations. The elections campaigning period came to a close midnight last night, and what is happening today is just preparations, and all eyes are on the IEBC because they are the ones to make sure that this exercise is a success. What they've been doing in the morning is they embarked on what we call checking their equipment, checking their materials, checking everything, ballot boxes, looking at whether they have everything they need to make sure that they are ready for this exercise. And outside here, vehicles have been parked waiting for those ballot papers to arrive, then pack them into their various ballot boxes, then dispatched to various polling stations in the county. We have 6 constituencies, and where I am right now is Makueni County constituency, where the tallying center is right here, where everything is being planned here. This is the largest constituency in Makueni County out of the 6, and what is happening here is just preparations. IEBC very, very busy trying to make sure everything is in order. We've been able also to see the polling clerks and other officials waiting here to be able to be dispatched to their various polling stations so that that exercise may be able to kick off at around 6 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Now joining me, let's hear from the returning officer from this constituency just to tell us what exactly they've put in place, whether they have any challenges, and what they expect the exercise to be at the end of the day. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I will help you hold the microphone. Just tell us, what are the preparations that you've put in place to ensure that this exercise is a success?
Yeah, today is the day that we refer to as the eve or the pre-poll day. Today is mainly when we get ready to leave for the field. All the polling officials are here, and in this case I'm referring to the presiding officers, the deputy presiding officers, and all the clerks. They are all trained and they are ready to go. Today, and just in a few hours to come, like around 2, we are going to start issuing all the various polling materials. I'm talking about the ballot papers, I'm talking about the ballot boxes, I'm talking about the polling booths, all the registers, all the AVID and the phone transmission gadgets are all with us, and we are ready to go. The officials have already mapped their stations. In this case, they've visited, they've known the polling room, they've known the route that they'll be using, and they've visited the centers so that they get the rapport from the schools and the other polling areas. And so they are ready and they are enthusiastic.
Well, the major concern here is the success of this exercise and making sure that this poll is free and fair. What measures has IEBC put in place to ensure that nothing is going to be, that no incidences of rigging or cheating in this election is not going to be experienced anywhere in any of your polling centers?
Everything is in place. I'm talking about all the registered voters who registered are in the register. In Makueni, we've got 64,708 voters who are in the biometric register, and just 182 who are not captured by the biometrics. And all those will be given the opportunity to vote because the register is complete with all those people. And this means that we expect that the registered voters that are there are the people who will be reflected in the results, and there is no discrimination against those people. But of course, we've got to ensure that only the right documents that are entitled for voting, that will be allowed for voting. Otherwise, all the agents are free to join the polling stations, and all the preparations have been done and communication has been put in place.
Have you foreseen any kind of challenges in this exercise?
No major challenges, just the normal here and there, polishing on a few issues, the officials, no major challenge. In fact, all the materials are here, and even the ballot papers are going to land in any time. Yes.
People are expecting transmission of results coming from electronic transmission of results. How is that going on so far? Safaricom had stopped working with you. I don't know whether you've been able to work out with Safaricom to ensure that they help you transmit these results.
Of course, just like our chairman communicated, everything has been working well with Safaricom, and all the lines are activated with them. And our POs have been able to simulate the transmission 4-5 times, and they are very confident, and they've done it even yesterday. So everything is ready to go, and even they are competent about the AVID machine.
Any incidences, election malpractices or offenses reported so far?
Not any, because we have been monitoring with the security, and we've not heard much. Maybe anything about the usual heckling, but nothing got out of hand. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. We wish you all the best in this exercise. Well, Willis, that is the returning officer for Makueni constituency, giving us just how they are prepared for this particular exercise. Everything in place. What we are waiting for is the ballot papers to arrive. And the residents here are a bit concerned about the idea that Mutula Kilonzo's junior's name has been sticked on the ballot paper instead of being printed actually on the ballot paper. But so far, so good. No incidences. Guys are waiting. It will be normal exercise tomorrow. They will vote as opposed to what others were saying. Maybe the turnout will be low. The returning officer assured us that there will be a lot of security being put in place and checking and monitoring of the exercise to ensure nothing is left to chance. Well, Willis, we will be able to update you on what happens in Makueni County between now and tomorrow morning when the residents go to polls to elect their next senator after the demise of Mutula Kilonzo Sr. Back to you, Willis Raburu, in our studios.
Well, Kenego, just before I let you go, you had mentioned something about the sticking of Mutula Kilonzo Jr.'s name on the ballot paper there. What is the general mood of the people there, and have you gotten a response from the IEBC on the same?
Well, it is a situation, Willis, of being caught between a rock and a hard place. Nothing they can do about it. There is nothing so far, absolutely nothing. The court has ruled the election has to go on. The IEBC doesn't have the time to maybe print these names on the ballot paper, and the residents, of course, know that they need representation. All they'll be doing is they have complained. Of course, they say, well, that is not the best way to go. That is exposing this exercise to cheating or malpractices, but then they have nothing to do. They will always wait and see and make sure they do what is their duty, and that is to vote and make sure that that vote is taken care of. No one steals it or no one rigs the election. That is all they have to do for now. They are not happy about it, though, but they will have to go by it. Willis.
Thank you very much, Kenego Obadia. We'll, of course, join you later on to find out more on the Makueni senatorial by-election. Still tied to that by-election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has yet to complete the exercise of sticking Wiper Party candidate Mutula Kilonzo Jr.'s name on ballot papers ahead of tomorrow's Makueni senatorial by-election. And the process is currently underway at the Bomas of Kenya, where IEBC Chief Executive Officer James Oswago sought to assure voters that election materials will be transported to the constituency headquarters by this afternoon. Alex Chamwada tells us more.
IEBC officials embarked on the exercise of inserting Mutula Kilonzo Jr.'s name on the ballot papers at the Bomas of Kenya this morning, following a High Court ruling that allowed the commission to use ballot papers that had been printed without Mutula Jr.'s name. There are 5 candidates in the race, and according to the list, the Wiper candidate will be the 5th on the ballot. The IEBC says Makueni voters have no reason to worry about the security of the voting materials.
If somebody attempts to print his own Bandia one, we'll be able to know. And in every polling station, we have a UV lights gadget, torchlight, where we normally check. So if we run it through and we find that you printed yours, it will not be the same as ours. you know. So the same security features that you have here are what you have in this other one. This is the reason why it would have made it very difficult to make it locally, you know. And even the numbering is the same. And the distribution of this one is also the same as the distribution of the ballot papers.
Oswago says voting materials will be delivered in time for tomorrow's by-election. The seat fell vacant following the death of Mutula Kilonzo in April. Alex Chamwada, Citizen at 1.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has pledged to ensure that no Kenyan is discriminated against on the basis of religion, creed, or political persuasion. Kenyatta was speaking during a follow-up meeting at State House with the leaders of the Supreme Council of Kenyan Muslims, where he reiterated his commitment to ensure efficient service delivery to all Kenyans. Kenyatta had on Saturday hosted Muslims at State House for iftar, the evening meal to break the fast. To Garissa County now, where 16 women have been nominated to the County Assembly in Garissa. The nomination of the high number of women is to ensure that the county has fulfilled the one-third gender rule demanded by the Constitution.
A crowd gathered at the county offices in Garissa to witness the swearing-in ceremony of 16 women nominated to the County Assembly. The high number of nominated women was to ensure that the constitutional threshold that at least one-third of County Assembly members are from either gender is met. No woman was elected during the March 4th general election, prompting the county to nominate more women to the County Assembly. 2 men representing disabled persons were also picked and sworn in, bringing the number to 18. The County Assembly of Garissa now has 48 members, comprising 32 men and 16 women. Addressing the assembly after the ceremony, Governor Nadhif Jama urged the new members to work together in bringing development to the region.
I have no doubt your contributions as new incoming members will be valuable and will indeed be a value addition to our many development requirements.
The Commission on Revenue Allocation said due to failure by some counties to meet the required one-third rule, the taxpayers are going to cough an extra 570 million shillings annually to pay the salaries of the nominated women. 600 women will have to be nominated countrywide after it emerged that voters in more than half of the counties did not elect any women to the county assemblies. Linda Oma, Citizen at 1.
Now, more than 400 reformed warriors from West Pokot County have benefited from funds by peace organizations that will assist them to start alternative lifestyles after quitting the cattle rustling. Speaking after handing over checks of over 1.2 million shillings to several reformed warrior groups in the county, Deputy Governor Titus Lotte said the move will assist the young men to start income-generating projects. Now, according to the coordinator of SECOM Peace Organization, Joseph Akaule, the hundreds of youth have opted to abandon cat rustling and engage in development activities. But the main challenge is how to get grants to finance their activities. Now, 30 nominated county assembly members in Kiambu have been sworn into office. 22 of those who were nominated were women, while 2 were nominees with disabilities, among them visually impaired athlete Henry Wanyoinke. During the event, which was conducted by Kiambu County Assembly Speaker Nick Ndichu, the nominees expressed confidence that they would boost the image of the county from the earlier picture when the assembly did not transact business due to differences amongst them.
Ukitaka kwenda bali sana haraka enda peke yako, lakini ukitaka kwenda bali enda na wenzako. Na najua hapa tuko wote pamoja, tumeshirikiana na tumepokelewa vizuri. Sasa ni kazi yaze.
And now to an interesting story here. We want you to meet a man whose life revolves around the figure 4. When he goes to the shop, anything he buys is in force. In his home state, there are 4 identical houses. Even pets like dogs come in force. Wondering why? Well, Gordon Nyambura Oyo, a pastor in Kisumu County, is married to 4 women. And to him, fairness is the only thing that keeps his family together. In fact, he eats 4 sets of different food at once to avoid potential discontent. Here is Judy Kosgei with the feature My 4 Wives and I, detailing how one man has embraced an Afro-Christian marriage, and interestingly, he is one of the few men who support the Marriage Bill 2013. Let's take a look.
When we walk into this homestead, the number 4 is evident in everything. They all insist they have to cook for their husband. Each one of the 4 women is doing what it takes to prepare food they believe goes down well with him, even as darkness slowly creeps in. Meet the co-wives in Rabor village, Kisumu County, whose evening is characterized by this, all with one goal: to make this man happy. 55-year-old Gordon Nyambura Oyo, a father of 24, but unfortunately 9 children have passed away. He's treated like a king and addressed like one.
Tunaharakisha haraka, mzee akule haraka, alale mapema. Sasa yeye ndiye atapanga vile atakula hichi chakula. Huyu anampelekea yake, mimi nampelekea yangu. Sasa mzee anakuwa na chakula mingi.
Saa 2 hivi chakula iko ready.
Na sipokula yako, hawezi kosa, lazima kule.
He lives big and eats big too. Everything comes in fours, and for fairness, he has to at least test the food cooked by each of his wives. And he invites them that they can join in the feast.
Si lazima nikule yote, kwa sababu niko na tumbo moja tu.
As his wives watch him enjoy what they say defines a good wife, I ask him the one question everyone in Rabor is asking.
Na ni kitu gani wewe kilikufanya kutaka kuwa wanawake wengi?
Nilikuwa nataka niishi vizuri.
And living well is being around his women. That's all. In fact, he can hardly remember the year he married each one of them.
Unajua hao wanaolewa ndio wanajua wakati unawaacha kwa wanakuja hapa.
Gordon Nyambura Oyo, or Rasta as people call him here because of the dreadlocks, believes having many wives is the only way to prevent infidelity. And as we talk further, he says he wants to give Kenyans a lesson on faithfulness. According to him, it has nothing to do with the one wife, one husband school of thought.
Kwa hivyo ukitaka kuchukua mtoto mwenyewe usimdanganye. Mwambie hata kama yeye atakuwa mke wa 10. Wewe mueleze tewe ni mke wa 10. Akikubali, mkipendana, mnaishi. Wale wanabii wa kale, kuna wengine walikuwa na mabibi zaidi ya 700.
None of his wives is allowed to sleep in this house. It is the official residence of their adorable husband, as they call him.
Pengine wakati unatafuta mtoto lazima uende kwa nyumba. Nafikiria wewe umezaa. Wakati ulitafuta hiyo mtoto, ukuenda kwa nyasi.
We step outside to check on the children, and we find them in the house of the 3rd wife. Like their mothers, they live in harmony.
I've spent like 4 hours with Oyo's family today. His 4 wives actually interact like siblings. They're more like sisters. I was surprised at first, but they tell me they like it that way.
Unajua nyinyi wanawake ni kama watoto tu. Yaani watoto wakubwa yenye naweza saidia mtu.
Akizaa wa pili, usifikirie mtakaa wawili.
So like children, he disciplines them. On one corner of his office, as he calls it, are 4 cans. I ask him whether he's taking spare the road, spoil the child too far.
Hata utuangi mtu mzima, unatuanga setani yenye iko ndani yake.
He cannot marry a 5th wife. He's a man of the cloth. It is at daybreak on a bright Saturday morning that we get to have a clear picture. At the center of the homestead is the man's house, while the doors of the 4 identical houses with identical household items face Oyo's house. The call to head to church will not stop until each one of them gets ready. He wears another hat. The man of God is accompanied by his wives and 13 of his children to St. Lawrence Musanda Holy Ghost Church of East Africa, Rabor branch. He actually donated the land where the church is built. Once inside, each of his children and wives has a role to play. He's the preacher, and they are his flock. After the electric church service, for him, there is no remedy to infidelity.
Ubaya pengine upate mwanamke mwenye na anyanya. Sio mwanamke kama huyo unampatia ofa naenda kabisa. Sio lazima. Hakuna mtu alipigwa na msumali ndiye akae na msichana ya mwenyewe. Ama alichoma na welding.
As he relaxes outside his house, his 4 wives discuss what their husband will have for lunch. Judy Kosgei, Citizen TV, Kisumu.
Very interesting story there by Judy Kosgei of Oyo number 4. Director Robert Karanja says he would very much like to meet this Oyo who calls divorce giving the wife an off day. Right, the Ministry of Education says it's committed to honoring the return to work deal signed between the government and the teachers' unions, which ended a 3-long-week strike. Now, Education Principal Secretary Professor Belio Kipsang said this when he appeared before the Senate Committee on Education. During the meeting, the PS in the ministry was working out a policy on how to evolve polytechnics to county levels.
As government, we would want to assure Kenyans that the commitments we made in the return to work formula with the teachers will be met. The issues of commuter allowance that we shall pay into installment, that as government we shall do. We also are aware that the function of vocational training at the youth polytechnic level has also been developed, and we are working with the county government to make sure that this particular transition is smooth and that it takes off and takes off well.
Right now, Machakos County Senator Johnson Muthama is appearing before NCIC today. Now, the NCIC had called for his arrest after he had failed to heed other summons earlier on, where he had accusations of hate speech. Now, a statement from the hate speech watchdog had said that Muthama had been summoned by the commission after uttering anti-Asian sentiments. The NCIC says Muthama made comments last month at Machakos AIC Church, where he allegedly asked, quote, how can he appoint an Asian to run the affairs of the county? Now, that story there that we will be bringing you later on is the basis of our interactive segment, where we are asking you, how do you rate NCIC in its role of tackling hate speech? That question again, how do you rate NCIC in its role of tackling hate speech? SMS your views to 22422, that's 22422, and we'll be able to sample some of them during and, of course, at the tail end of this bulletin. That is 22422. Tell us what you think. Right now we will take a short break, and when we return we'll have more local news and Banandong with sports. Stay with Citizen at 1.